Going over today's NHL slate, and I'm actually doing this live as well. I'm going to experiment with a couple of different ways of doing things. Instead of doing just straight recordings, maybe when we record, we will also be live in case people have some questions, even though they're earlier in the day. I just want to kind of try this out, and if it looks a little awkward, I'm trying out some backgrounds and things like that, and some screen sharings. And so it could be somewhat awkward, but whatever. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what we always do, but we're not going to be able to probably see as much of the screens as we could. But we'll take a look and see what we got here. Okay, so like I said, if you happen to be around in chat, feel free to pop in. So I guess my face is up over here. All right, this isn't bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the slate, and we're going to look at it both from, we're going to break it down via my sheets. We're going to do a single entry build using DraftKings. We'll also pull SaberSim up and do an MME build as well. So the first thing I want to do is let's take a look at which teams rate to probably be good plays here. I mean, we're just going to look at the team totals as implied by SaberSim here. So they're showing Ottawa at a 3.5 team total, Dallas at a 3.9, and Boston and Edmonton rates to be kind of a shootout here. We got 3.7 versus 3.4. So I imagine people are going to go to that game and maybe as a kind of a game stack. Then you have Vegas and Colorado. Doesn't really look to be that appealing, nor does Chicago Anaheim. So it looks as though the majority of the ownership, or at least the projection, should come from Ottawa, Dallas, Boston, and Edmonton. So what we're going to do now is pull up our sheets and see what my sheets say. Now, first of all, with respect to the way the slate kind of pans out, it's you have this one 7 o'clock game and then kind of a delay before these others. And boy, you don't get the late night hammer out of Edmonton this time. Edmonton goes kind of early at 8:30. So the last games are, not particularly appealing, especially the Chicago Anaheim game. Nonetheless, let's kind of take a look and see what we got here. So again, I'm going to use my sheets, and the idea again is to just hopefully find guys that are kind of near the top that play on the same team. And then we can be a little bit fancier and talk about whether they're on the same even strength line or power play line or things like that. And a couple of things I noticed when I first pulled this up, and again, we're ranking this by my value scores. First of all, I do see two Chicagos, two cheapos that are showing up as really good values. And that's on a slate where, the majority of the ownership is going to come from other games. So if you want to play some of this late night stuff, I mean, you have two guys that you can start with from Chicago, and they're both on the same even strength lines. So that's the first thing I'm going to notice. And if you're going to want to pay up for some of this other stuff like Boston or Edmonton, you're going to need kind of a complementary stack. And using Chicago seems to make a lot of sense. The other thing I'll notice is that, two of the top guys are right out of the Dallas first line. So you have Hintz and Robertson rate to be, the two best plays, and they're right, obviously on the same even strength line, same power play line. So these guys look really, really strong. What I'm struggling to do is find Boston and Edmonton. It takes me all the way down to here before I find the first Boston guy, which is a little surprising to me. I figure with both these team totals, with guys that people have heard of, people love playing all these Edmontons, these Bostons. I was expecting to get a little more projection out of these, but apparently not. It looks as though from the spend ups, you probably are more interested in playing Dallas guys, and then you'll see Pavelski, by the way, as the next even strength and power play line guy in there. The other thing I'll notice, actually, is that you got these two Detroit guys who are really cheap that rate really, really strong. So you have Bertuzzi and Perron both on the even strength line there. And if you want to fill that up with Who's the other guys? It's still Larkin. We'll figure that out. But so this is not what I was expecting. I mean, to get some pretty good value lines here between Chicago and Detroit, as opposed to just trying to jam in all this Boston and Edmonton stuff. So it looks as though, again, that from a single entry perspective, I would probably want to play Dallas as my main kind of spend up stack, and then take my pick between this Chicago and Detroit value to kind of make that work. The other thing you'll notice, which I really, really like to see, oh, thanks, Adam. I'm just glad somebody's typing in here because I'm trying to test whether after I do this, I can then also upload it for people to watch as a regular YouTube video. I'm sure you can, but there's no better way to do it than to just kind of test it. And feel free to ask whatever questions you have here. So again, if I was going to hand build this, I would expect to build something like a big old Dallas stack, and probably fill it in with some of these Chicago's or Detroit. So let's do that. Let's see what that actually looks like. We'll pull up a lineup over here, and so you're going to get Hintz, and then Robertson, and then Pavelski. Just the real pure top three there. And then Ben would fill out the power play, right? Yeah, so let's do a full, and then even Heiskanen would fill out the whole thing. So why don't we do a whole thing here? Let's put in Heiskanen, and then we'll also put in Ben. I just want to see what this looks like. And there was also a cheap goalie that I forgot to mention, Nhl. So we'll put him in. And let's just see what a lineup like this could look like. Remember, this is no Boston, no Edmonton. So this is operating your own risk. So you can't exactly get this, but it's not bad. Okay? It's not bad. Oh, good point. So Adam's saying they have some Chicago trades. Yeah, okay. So we'll have to take a look and see what that's all about. But before we'll do that, I mean, this Kurashev at 3,200. I mean, the only problem is he's a wing, but we could put him in. So Kurashev, to see what it looks like. And who was the other guy that we looked at? Another wing, the Anastasio. So we can't really do that. It'd be nice if we had a defenseman. And then Detroit, a couple of wings. So it'd be nice to get like a center or a cheap defenseman to kind of make all this work. And not really getting it, as far as good values over there. Now, obviously, what I could do is just not play 5 Dallas guys. So we'll take out one of the Dallas guys, and we can replace him with the not Curacao. Who's the other guy? Fanzio. Then we could actually kind of do something. Then we have a little money to spend as well. Just for fun. I mean, anybody on Chicago? Any good defense? Let's take a look. And as you were saying, Adam, I mean, so I guess Seth Jones would be the 1-1 on defense. I guess that's be who would use. But I want to go to Detroit. I wonder if there's anybody good over there. I mean, Wallman's not even on a correlated line. Probably wouldn't want to do that. So I would probably go, if I was going to play a defenseman, I'd probably try to get Seth Jones in. Oh, there's another goalie? Okay, great. I'm going to pull him in too. So like you said, Stalock. Let's just put him in. I mean, if you could play 6,500 for a goalie, I mean that's really, really good. Now just and then For centers, I mean, we just go in here and just try to sort by point per dollar and find somebody, whatever. So let's just see. Any good center? Okay, so you have Derek Grant, 4-2. I don't really like the 4-2s. Oh, McTavish, he's okay from that game if you don't want to play the Chicago goalie. It's probably a pretty good idea. Andrew Kopp from the Detroit second line. That's not. If you want to get Domi in at center, maybe he's probably one of the ones traded, I imagine. let's take a look. We'll see though. So this actually works. You know what I mean? Something like this. Play Domi, Athanasio, Kurashev, 4 Dallas guys, and now you get whatever you want, really. You don't even have to play Stalock if you don't want to. So that's what you can do. Now, to answer your question about somebody was asking about Dallas ownership, I don't know. I presume they're going to be owned. They project well. But I still like to think that people are going to play the Edmontons and the Boston. People want to play those guys, and they're in the same game. It could get pretty shootouty, I think, especially at Edmonton. Just have this idea that everybody's going to score a lot. So just for fun, you know, what would that look like? I mean, if we even try to get those guys in, it probably is really, really hard, isn't it? I mean, you're getting. Let's just see what we got here. The first Edmonton guy I even have rated here. I don't even know. Nugent Hopkins, 6,400. McDavid, 9,800 against Boston. I mean, I guess that's the thing. I mean, that's Boston's good enough team that you don't have to. So you're saying Boston one is cheaper than Dallas? And okay, so let's. But I think there's a reason for that. But there shouldn't be a reason. Edmonton stinks. You know what I mean? Like, they're great for fantasy. But so what? Marchand, DeBrusque. I don't know. And there's no Pasternak. Yeah, so I'm gonna probably need some help here from Saberson in building some of these things because I'm gonna have some difficulty figuring out what to do over here. So at least on single entry, it looks as though Dallas, Detroit. Let me tell you something about Detroit. You know, I've seen Ottawa give up some goals. So yeah. All right, let's do a Saberson. Let's see what we can come up with here. We'll just build these just as is. Build 150 lineups, and let's see. Anybody have a guess? Now, usually what ends up happening is that Saberson finds a way to jam in all these guys that I can't figure out how to jam in. So maybe they're going to be playing a bunch of Boston and at Edmonton. But let's just see. Let's build 50. It was pretty funny. I played tennis today. I played a guy who scored 90 fantasy points. And I started like thinking I was going to win all the money. He's not even the highest scoring guy on the slate. There's some 5% owned 5,800 girl who outscored him, kind of 93 points. Pretty crazy. Yeah, so all of Dallas apparently. In 50 lineups, we'd be getting 66% Dallas, 24% Edmonton, 24% Vancouver. Excuse me, Vegas, and 15% Boston. No faith in the Chicago though. No faith in the Detroit. Okay. But the other thing we'd have to do is like you look at the stack types. I mean, am I really interested in what 3-2s I'd be getting? So why don't we do this? Let's. How about this? Just to give an idea. Let's do a minimum of 30% 4 threes for openers. Just to give an idea of what actually could look good. Let's do a minimum of 20% 5 twos. And then let's do another minimum of let's put 10%, a minimum of 10% 6 zeros. They disappeared. Hold on. Minimum of 10% 6 zeros. And so at least these are like reasonable looking stacks. So now let's see what we would end up getting now. Now we'd be getting still about 56% Dallas, but now when you're requiring there to be a little more correlation, you're getting some more Colorado and some more Boston for that matter. And Chicago and Detroit really are not favored here. So no matter how you do this, Dallas is going to look really, really good. So I guess the most important thing, oh, wait, so Kurashev is absent from morning practice. So again, this is something everybody's going to look at. We do have the Twitter feed here, NHL Twitter feeds within the Discord. And right there it is. And look at that, 10 minutes ago. Absent from the morning skate due to an illness. Now, I don't know what that actually means. I know what it means. I mean that he missed the morning skate. Is it usual that if you miss the morning skate, you don't get to play? I don't know. But what's interesting is that it's the late game, so you might not know until the end, right? So we'll just take a look, right? So that's really pretty much all I wanted to do. We are going to go live as usual. It's like 6 o'clock where we're going to go through some more of this. And again, I'll try to get a word in with, you know what I mean? Like, I know Bobby doesn't like me to talk about the hockey, but I'll try to sneak in a little something. You know, listen, something's got to pay for the NBA, right? We can't rely on our full fades of the main event in the MMA to work out due to postponements every week. That was pretty funny. I heard people like reaching out to me, hey, congratulations for fading the main event. I'm like, listen, I'll take it, but it's not exactly the way what I had in mind. I don't know, some sadistic part of me wanted them to actually run the fight so that I could see what happened. Yeah. All right, I guess that'll do it. We will see you guys at about 6 o'clock, and